Dear religious viewer of Khabar Tahtak, the topic of the story that I have brought before you today under the religion section of Khabar Tahtak is linked with that activity of Ravan in which he invited all the member of his family and clan and get them killed fighting with Lord Ram who had invaded on Sri Lanka in order to bring back his beloved wife Sita, whom Ravan had abducted and kept in Lanka. With this activity of Ravan, not a single person in his family and clan was left even to give water at the time of abode to heaven as per Hindu religion. Top Ram devotee Tulsidas had well described this event in his famous book Ramcharit Manas. राम विमुख असहाल तुम्हारा रहा न कोई कुल रोवन हारा. Not a single man was left even to weep while his final and abode to the heaven. On the basis of various Ramayana describing the story of Lord Ram, I will try to make you understand as to why Ravan was bent to get all the member of his family and clan die fighting with Rama, and even while doing this activity his dual nature appeared. One-sided he brought all the member of his family and clan, many of whom he was not in touch with, and many of them was not even in his memory, but he pressurized and made a great effort to find this and brought them all to Sri Lanka and get them killed fighting with Rama. But Vibhishan, who was always accompanying Rama, he kicked away and forced him to go to Rama and accompany him in order to save his life. According to the Ramcharitmanas, this act of Ravan dates back to his previous life as King Pratap Bhanu. He had defeated a king and annexed his kingdom. He assumed the form of a deceitful sage seeking revenge on Pratap Bhanu and ordered him to perform a yajna, that is, sacrifice, under his supervision, claiming that he and his kingdom would be immortal thereby. Unable to recognize this deceitful sage and driven by his desire for both his own and his kingdom's immortality, Pratap Bhanu performed this yajna before the Brahmins could take of the prasad. A divine voice spoke, warning them of the Brahmins' flesh being mixed into the prasad. Hearing this, the Brahmins, without even considering who was to blame, cursed Pratap Bhanu and his clan with the destruction of their clan. Additionally, when the second Akashvani revealed Pratap Bhanu's deceptions of this cunning Muni, Pratap Bhanu touched the feet of the Brahmins and asked for salvation from this curse. The Brahmins told him that if Lord Vishnu killed him during his incarnation as Rama, the members of his clan would be free from the demonic form. There was no other way to be free from this curse and of demonic form. According to the Brahmin words, Ravana freed all the members of his clan who were still members of his clan by searching for them and getting them to participate in the war with Rama. Vibhishana was not even a member of Pratap Bhanu's clan, but rather was his secretary. And Pratap Bhanu, he was also Ravana's half brother, having the same father and different mothers. In this act of Ravan, there is no major discussions in Ramcharitmanas about Ravana's son Narantak, etc., and it is described only as an interpolation, but it is described in detail in Valmiki Ramayana. According to this story, Ravana's queen, other than Mandodari, once gave birth to 72,000 children in a single day. Ravana was overjoyed to learn of his clan's prosperity. He summoned Sukracharya to determine their fate. Sukracharya told Ravana that all the children were born under the Mula Nakshatra. Therefore, the children would be a threat to their father and clan. Therefore, after seeing their faces, he should hand them all over to the ocean. Hearing Sukracharya's prophecy, Ravana, after expressing their face, drowned them in the ocean. While floating in the ocean, these innocent children were caught by the roots of a banyan tree. After drinking the tree's milk, they all grew quite healthy. The eldest of them, Narantak, went to the Shiva temple near the banyan tree and performed intense penance to Lord Shiva, receiving the boon of prosperity and invincibility. He then pleased Lord Brahma with his penance and received a similar boon. After Ahiravan's death, Ravan was deeply saddened. One of his secretaries close to Vibhishan, who rarely visited Ravana's court, came to Ravana's court. Initially, he urged Ravan to seek refuge in Rama's feet. However, Ravan becomes enraged and refused to do so. He told Ravana that one of his sons, Narantak, who he had drowned in the ocean, was very powerful in the king of Vibhavalpur, situated in space. Having received this boon of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, he has been invincible in every battle and, with few exceptions, could only be killed by a monkey. Upon learning this from his secretary about Narantak, Ravana immediately sent a letter to his messenger Dhumraketu summoning him. Narantak's prosperity was such that Ravana's messenger Dhumraketu would sometimes mistake a servant for Narantak and sometimes a maid servant for him. Then, seeing a performer going to the palace to show Narantak his tricks, he accompanied him to the palace. However, even there, when he saw Narantak and his 72,000 brothers, he was unable to distinguish which one was Narantak. Seeing the stranger, Dhumraketu asked the reasons for his visit. Ravana's messenger, Dhumraketu, handed him the letter containing Ravana's message. Upon reading Ravana's letter, Narantak immediately set off for Lankapuri with his 72,000 brothers and army to meet Ravana. Ravana was overjoyed to see these mighty sons of his and their services. Thanks to the boons of Lord Shiva and Brahma, Narantak wreaked havoc in Rama's camp. Forget about the apes and bears. He even knocked Lakshman unconscious with a fist. Hanuman then somehow freed Lakshman from Narantak's grasp and brought him to Lord Rama. At this point, the valiant Hanuman recounted the entire battle to Rama. Within moments, Rama healed all the monkeys and bears, including Lakshman. Through his divine vision, Lord Rama also realized that thanks to the boons of Lord Shiva and Brahma, even Lakshman could not defeat Narantak. He summoned then Angada and Sugriva and told them that only the two of them and no one else could destroy Narantak. But they too could do so only if Lakshman could put an end to his magic before they could do so. Angad, Sugriv, and Lakshman touched Lord Rama's feet, sought his blessings, and set off for the battle. First, Lakshman used a single arrow to cut off all the illusions of Narantak. Despite this, Narantak continued to attack bears and apes like death. When he came near Angad, he punched him in the chest, but it had no effect on Angad. Then Angad snatched Narantak's sword and beheaded him, taking his life.